as you can see your breath out here in the lake of fact, breaking tables like it's poetry. Where else would you rather be? Pinto on Elvis in the lay poncho. The members that you need to know, 'cause once you out here now you're family. Where else would you rather be? Where else would you rather be?
Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker and StreamYard. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud.
It's a vibe so ridiculous. Since 12 plus 83 was 6. The shout rocking like a symphony. Where else would you rather be?
All right, let's get straight to it. I'm really excited about tonight's episode. It was funny because I was talking with one of our guests tonight pre-show, and the entire point of Nickel City Crew was to get my Bills thoughts said out loud. To be completely honest, it was a situation where, as I've said in my intro, I used to always think about the Bills and talk about the Bills and how are we going to get better and how are we going to get back to the Super Bowl and all of these different things running through my head. And eventually I just, I stopped being scared. I got the equipment and I said, you know what, I'm going to start a podcast. And I'm so excited that we're now in season 4. I mean, we are growing, and I couldn't do it without my co-host that's been with me literally since the beginning. I've only did, maybe a few episodes without him. Holla at the crew, riding shotgun tonight, as always, my co-host, Adam Dump Truck Rupsick. Check him out on Instagram at Adam Rupsick, RUPCZYK. Holla at the crew, DT. What's good with you? What's up, man? What's good?
Nickel City, what's up? What's up, baby? What's up, crew? Welcome back. Season 4, we're off and running, and it's going to be our biggest one yet, as we keep saying and we keep rolling. I'm excited to keep riding shotgun with you, Rob, and get these Bills thoughts said out loud. A good point. I think I'll bring up last week was the first episode I've ever been on with you where it didn't start and you didn't say, I'm really excited for tonight's episode. So that meant, you were feeling the 1-4. You were feeling the 1-4 cut, and that's okay. So I'm happy to put the bow on it, and we got some great guests as always tonight. And, let's ride. Nickel City Crew, here we are.
Absolutely. I am really excited. I was really excited last week for episode 3, and I might have neglected because my heart was hurt. But, one of the things that helps me to get me through is the resident mama of the crew, the incomparable Robyn Mundy. Check her out on Instagram and Twitter at Robyn Mundy. That's ROBYN MUNDYWYO. That stands for Wyoming, where there was a certain poke once upon a time that we all are a little bit fond of now. What's good, Mama Mundy? I'll let the crew. We're so happy to have you back.
We got to talk about that poke some tonight.
Yeah, we might.
I have a little conversation about that poke tonight. I got a few things to say about that poke tonight.
That's what's up.
And, yeah, we have lots to talk about in this episode for sure. And people are going to be surprised to hear me for the first time give a critique about Josh Allen that needs to be said. And I think there's some things that need to be said. And I think what you said is right on the money. And I thank you for inviting me to come on. But yes, it's like, tell it like it is, right?
We keep it real here at Nickel City Crew. That's something that the dump truck and I have said that we were going to do from the beginning. We're not always in the majority, but even when we're in the minority, there are certain members of the crew that get with us, that still support us, and even if they don't agree with us, joining us tonight to fill out this podcast tonight. I mean, it was funny because I was starting to argue with him on Twitter, and I was like, "This is my brother, man. This is my man. Like, I cannot start arguing with." Listen, the creative director at Buffalo FAMBase, again, the incomparable Justus General Radford. Holla at the crew, man. You can check him out on Instagram and Twitter at JA17MVP. Holla at the crew. General, salute. I mean, we gonna salute. I mean, you're talking about some captain stuff tonight. We gonna salute you, man. We'll salute, man. We recognize your ranks.
Mom, I appreciate you having me on tonight. Hey, first of all, before we do any of this, I want to say congratulations on 4 seasons. I don't think you guys know how hard it is for a podcast to go for 4 seasons, and then not only go for 4 seasons, but then to stick together throughout the whole thing is crazy. So salute to both of you guys. Congratulations to both of you guys. That's amazing. And I'm glad that we could be a part of it here at FAMBase. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I appreciate your input, and I appreciate your guidance from the beginning. Shout out to Jay Spence the King, who I know they got a lot of stuff going over there at Buffalo Rumblings with Vox and different things like that. I reached out to him. I'm a big fan of his, and he's one of the people that he's not one of the people. He is the person that linked us up, and the reason that we're here simulcasting on Buffalo FAMBase. Again, Buffalo FAMBase here on the Bills Mafia Podcast Network. We're presented tonight by 26 Shirts. Head on over to 26shirts.com for all of the latest Buffalo Bills theme shirts. Again, each and every purchase supports a wonderful cause. Now, we've paid the bills. It is time for me to lay down on the couch. DT, I paid the lady. I met her at the front door. I gave her my Bills card, my Bills Mafia card, and I told her that I need that season ticket holder discount. I
got my notes.
I want to start this round robin tonight because it's funny. I have been fighting with so many people on Twitter, most recently on X. And to be honest, DT, it's been a situation where it was kind of what we talked about last week, DT, where I'm speaking of 2024, the Buffalo Bills in 2024, and the offense in 2024, and my angular focus on finding a way to get back to the Super Bowl, to be quite honest with you. Again, I'll let the chips fall. Everybody in Nickel City crew knows, that Bills get back to the Super Bowl, I'll let the chips fall. I'll deal with the jokes at the barbershop. I'll deal with anything I have to deal with going to 0-5, because the flip side of that coin is nothing but straight glory for so many people across Western New York and across the world, stretching out even to Wyoming, where Mama Mundy is. So I know the flip side of that coin is if we can get it done, that's all I want to be focused on. And DT, I've been fighting with people about this whole Stefon Diggs thing. It seems like as soon as the word came down, everybody was kind of dancing on the grave, and it was a little bit weird, and was some of that awkward energy, DT. And I'm trying to figure out as we go round robin tonight about what made the relationship deteriorate. Now, we already went through the trade last week. Check out last week's episode. We went through the trade. We've already acknowledged here on Nickel City Crew that it is most likely that Stefon Diggs asked for a trade. We understand that. We're acknowledging that. Again, my gripe was that I wanted Brandon Beane to broker something. I wanted him to kind of manage people, which I think is a part of his job. And DT, where would you say that this relationship went wrong? Because one of the keys to any relationship is communication. I think that could be held culprit on a lot of the reasons why our star quarterback right behind me, Josh Allen, and his number one receiver fell out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to really dig in, I think with the 13 seconds was where
we got Mama Mundy here. We're digging in tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I think you got 13 seconds is exactly where it started. You know, the honeymoon phase, that was right after the honeymoon phase of Diggs kind of getting a fresh start, coming over to Buffalo and joining up with a rising superstar in Josh Allen. And, you know, and they build their first 2 years together, and it was cohesion right out of the gate. You know, it couldn't have been better. The yin and the yang and everything in between. And then 13 seconds kind of brought everything to reality. And, you know, and after that, the bite to win was, you know, we've been through the honeymoon. We know what it takes to you know, get to the playoffs now, and we had the taste for a bowl right there, and we didn't do it. So now the expectation is getting to the Super Bowl, as we talked about, and I think that it got a little edgier in all directions with that. And not to say, you know, not to make this about 17 and 14, but it really is, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
this is the nice episode.
And, you know, they don't go in, I would say, completely separate directions, but I think they went in different paths. You know, Diggs kind of went in his one way where he saw as a, you know, this is what we need to do to win, and Josh kind of went in the other way. I don't think they were opposite directions. It was just on, you know, different sides of the road. One was in the carpool lane, one was in the, you know, over in the other lane, right? So it goes back to 13 seconds. I think it comes down to the two alphas on the team kind of were, going the same road but in different
Shaq and Kobe.
lanes, and it eventually, you know, came to a bud, and it's weird for us because we're the biggest defenders of 1-4 and Stefon Diggs. We had literally a month worth of episodes dedicated to it last year when kind of all this drama was going on, and there was a little bit of drama before that, but then it really kind of hit off last spring, and we squashed it, and then now it really happened, and we're in the same, right? We're like Josh and Steph right now. You're going, we're not in completely different directions, but you're holding on this way, and I'm more in the fact of, wow, maybe we were wrong, and all these people that we were kind of really critical of were a little right. So that's I think where we are, and take it all the way back to 13 seconds. Expectation changed. It got real, and I don't think it was cohesive since then.
Justus General, before we give the floor to Mama Mundy, our resident shrink, I really do need you to let me know where did it go wrong, man? Where did we fall off, man? I had DT pull out a promo, Justus, on last week's episode, and I could only think of one song. It was Jay-Z back in the day with, you know, it was all good just a week ago, and it was like, man, it was all good just a week ago, like in 7 days.
What
You
happened?
know what I mean? A lot changed, man. Yeah. Justus General, before we give the floor to Mama Mundy, what happened? What happened to 17 and 14? What's the problem? Because I heard even something through the grapevine on Twitter that you might have seen as well, Justus, where Josh Allen was pissed after the Jets game. And you know, I guess Diggs was on the sideline yelling, and he was upset, and I've got more to speak about that. But Josh was like, it's one fucking game. It's one game. So what happened? It was all good just a week ago.
I mean, I've heard something. Excuse me. I've heard some things. You know, I have some people that are closer to the situation than most.
Me too.
And
we're not name dropping tonight.
Never, absolutely not. We're close to the situation, right? But you take a look at that, and I really feel like it was just uncomfortable. So from what I've been told, Diggs isn't the easiest person to be around. Okay, in the locker room specifically. All right. In terms of, he is very he's going to do what it takes for him to be comfortable, right? So if he wants to,
and we're talking about locker room, right? Not on the field. We're talking about,
I mean,
we're talking about coworker interaction,
drive in general, where, you know, on the football team, as far as the football team is concerned,
coworker interactions.
He's very strong-minded, right?
Okay.
Very rigid. There's not much there to be.
Not a lot of wiggle room.
There's not a lot of wiggle room. Not much for negotiation, right?
Okay.
The contract extension in 2020, a couple of years ago, right? So where did it go wrong? I feel like that part is iffy. Is a little touchy. You know,
let's touch on it though. That's the point of the show tonight. What happened? They were on the cover of Sports Illustrated Kids.
To me, where it all started to like kind of deteriorate was after the Bengals game, rightfully so. Right. I think having such an inexperienced offensive coordinator to begin with Ken Dorsey was just not good for the situation at all. I think that allowed for some, especially because the head coach is a defensive guy, so there's a lot of times where he's not even in the room, right? Is just Ken Dorsey to handle the situations. And, you know, an alpha male is going to be an alpha male, especially if there's not an alpha male to combat him, you know? And not to say that Dorsey isn't necessarily one, but I mean, come on, you know, there's an all pro in the room and there's Ken Dorsey, you know what I mean? So like, obviously Stefon Diggs is going to be heard.
Okay.
So I just feel like after the Bengals game was really where it started to deteriorate, because there was no, as we've seen with Ken Dorsey, you know, coaching for a full season or almost a full season, there was obviously no cohesiveness. There was no game plan. He was ill prepared to be an offensive coordinator, and that's no shot at him. It's just a fact. So I would have to imagine that was also true the year previous when they were in the playoffs, running comebacks in the snow.
No, I knew he was going to say it, DT. I knew he was going to say it, DT. Okay.
That's where I feel like Diggs was kind of like, he got a little worried, like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this.
Okay.
And you know, the anxiety started to build up, and that looks different in everybody. You know, when you're somebody like us, you know, we may, you know, have social anxiety and quiet down, you know, and kind of reserve ourselves in public or whatever the case may be. And when you're up 100 million, you might throw a temper tantrum and start yelling at your quarterback. Like that shows up in different ways.
Okay.
So I just feel like I'm not going to say either of them was necessarily wrong in the way it deteriorated when it comes to 14 and 17. In the way it deteriorated, I'm not going to say either one of them was wrong, right? There are some other things I feel, but we'll talk about that later. But the way it deteriorated, I just feel like it was just two separate ideologies. You know, so that's about as much as I can say.
Mama Mundy, we are so happy to have you here again. You know, for those who don't know, Robyn Mundy is a former psychiatrist. He's got not only a degree, counselor, excuse me, not only has a degree, but has history in studying the brain. I feel that I had a lot of times when I was arguing with people, Mama Mundy, on Twitter, I would say that Stefon Diggs and Justus spoke to it, made people uncomfortable. Okay. And what I posited was that being uncomfortable is not always a bad thing. I understand that it gives out a negative connotation oftentimes. I know that sometimes people don't like being held accountable. I understand that sometimes people squirm at it, or they might get defensive, or whatever the case may be. It seemed like the tenor around One Bills Drive was that there was a certain individual who was walking around the halls, specifically on the offensive side of the room, and was making people squirm a little bit. Now, again, I would posit that does not mean it's a bad thing. Please give me your take. What was going on? Because I heard that he made people uncomfortable, and I'm looking to search and dig a little bit, you know, deeper into it before we wrap this up tonight.
Yeah. Well, let's start with being uncomfortable. I couldn't agree with you more.
Okay.
It's important at times to be uncomfortable. You have to be uncomfortable in certain situations in order to be the best that you can possibly be.
And to grow.
And to grow. And to grow. You asked the question about why it deteriorated. I think the short answer is that you have two individuals, 17 and 14. They are very different personalities.
Okay.
Very, very different personalities. And the first thing I would say is Diggs, he's a dog.
He's a dog.
He's a dog.
He's a dog.
He's the dog in him, like Tom Brady.
Okay.
Okay. He's got that. I'm going to do anything that I have to do to win. That's the dog in him. And he's authentic. Okay.
I'd agree.
Says what he thinks, which makes people uncomfortable at times. He's difficult to get along with. I think that's easily understood about a lot of wide receivers, personality-wise. They're not always the easiest to get along with. But here's the thing that we have to get to in terms of why did it deteriorate? You have two people, 17 and 14, who deal with conflict
very differently,
in very different ways.
Okay.
You have people who embrace conflict. Okay, they love it. They, they're just in it all the time, and
Sure.
that's what gets them all fired up.
Right.
Kind of, I see some of that in Diggs in terms of I want to get everything out on the table. This is how I feel, and let's all talk about it.
We'll figure it out.
And we'll figure it out. And Josh is not that way. Josh is probably one of the more conflict avoidant people that I've looked at in that kind of a position. And when I say that, what do I mean by that? What supporting evidence do I have? Okay. Have I interviewed Josh Allen personally? No. Do I
Nope.
need to interview Josh Allen personally to figure this out? No.
Nope.
There's enough supporting evidence out there to show that he is very conflict avoidant. That is a terrible quality in a leader. You absolutely have to embrace conflict and understand that conflict is a part of every relationship. It's a part of everything that we do in life. And the more that you avoid it, the worse it's going to get down the road for you. And here's my supporting evidence. We
Okay.
remember after the Bengals game, what happened. And what happened when training camp started? Or no, the mini camp started.
OTAs. We did an episode.
We don't have any Diggs. And then the reporters come in and they ask the question, have you spoken to Josh? Have you spoken with Diggs during the off season?
Yep.
And you can go back to all these interviews and find it.
We did a whole episode on it. Yes.
Okay.
The head coach said he was, quote, very concerned. He said it twice, not once.
Unquote, very concerned.
Said it twice.
So when the reporter asked the question, did you speak with Diggs during the off season? And he hedged until somebody finally cornered him and said, did you actually speak with him during the off season? And he said, no. And right at that point, I'm thinking to myself, what? Okay, you had this blow up and then everybody splits. And I get that. But you let this stuff fester for all these months?
Yes.
Come on. Are you kidding me, Josh? You can do better than that. You know you have to face that situation head on. And you know you have to deal with it because you're the man, right? Whether or not you like it, you are the man. So that's my
256 million, right, DT?
So that's my feeling about how things deteriorated, because we have two different personality types in terms of how to deal with conflict. And it's very important that Josh come away from this situation with some wisdom. And the wisdom that he needs to have in the situation is do not let things fester. Do not let things get that far down the road. You know, if you're having an issue, figure out whether you can solve it or not. Don't let it fester over months. And of course, Diggs is like ready to explode. So no wonder that meeting, that first meeting,
got sent home. The coach lied on him and said that he was very concerned, even though he neglected to tell us that he had actually sent him home. And then the next day it said that we had great conversations, productive conversations, and he just I guess ironically forgot to tell us that he had decided to send Steph home. DT, did they trade Stefon Diggs because he got his feelings hurt? Because Josh got his feelings hurt?
No. I mean, that's a good point.
I mean, Robyn, this is the last night we get a chance to talk about this. Did they trade him because Josh had his feelings hurt?
No. I think that Robyn has a good point, and
I hope so.
There's credit to back that up. Of that, yes, in that specific situation, the Cincinnati loss, there was obviously something going on there, and then to come back months later, and then another blow up happens, and QB1 says he hasn't talked to Diggs all offseason. Yeah, that's a problem, and that's conflict, avoidance, whatever. And you're never going to be a true alpha top dog, in anything if you can't, have to deal with conflict. It's one of the hardest things to do, as you lead people, and in management I am, the conflict's always the hardest part. You just want everything always to be good. That's the hardest part, so it's going to take the most work. But so I ask, on the other hand, what was Stefon Diggs doing to help conflict, other than, we don't see behind the doors. We don't know what conversations were being had with the team, with Josh, with Diggs. We don't know those type of conversations. But what was he doing on the reverse end? Yes, Josh could have stepped in, did more to bridge the gap and healed whatever drama there was. But what's Stefon Diggs doing? He's never saying what he says what he thinks, but he never was saying what he thought. That was the problem, right?
Not on Twitter. Thank
Sure,
you,
sure.
Mama Money. Now, don't
Never,
Twitter. He
never
came
saying
back to
what you brought to the
OTAs
public
and said, "I
eye.
want to retire Bill.
Yeah.
I don't want to call plays." What y'all
Yeah.
talking about? I'm not an offensive
So-
coordinator. I love Buffalo. So,
So
I mean,
and again, this is not putting everything on 14. This was a mutual drama buildup. Josh had stuff to do with this as much as Diggs
Yes.
did. But if Diggs coming in as more of a veteran, seeing 1-7 rise to the top of the football stardom, rise to the world, like you see him, all right, he's the next guy. He's hopefully the next Tom Brady, the next Peyton Manning, the next greats, one of the greats in NFL history. I see he has this problem with avoiding conflict. So I'm going to try to help him get through that. And maybe his way of doing that was kind of pressing, basically force the, like, oh, hit me in the face, hit me in the face until Josh kind of finally snaps back and hits him back, to pull that out of him. But if that was the case, then that's where I think that's what I'm seeing. I felt the vibe wasn't there in the fact of that. If that was the case and that was happening, I don't think Josh was ever able to snap back at him. Like, that's what I think I think the tiptoeing around Stefon Diggs just got too much for the team. Like, they're the two alphas couldn't coexist. Now you have to have the one alpha who, if Josh can yell at the whole team but can't yell at Stefon Diggs, and Stefon Diggs can yell at everyone, but who's coming at him for, who's coming at him for dropping that pass against Kansas City? And there's more. There's not just like, I'm not putting his whole career on that one drop.
You're in the safe space,
Diggs.
man. You good, man.
I love Stefon Diggs. Has brought us so much joy to this, and so some stuff we would never see as Bills fans because of him, and all these wins, a lot of wins because of him. But if he, was it just a power struggle? And then, so Stefon Diggs should be okay. He avoids conflict, so I'm going to make him face the conflict and get better because I want to grow with him together. And I don't think it was that. I think it was, screw this, I'm going to do me. And then Josh isn't comfortable enough to kind of say, no, screw that, we're doing this together. And hopefully 1-7 learns from this, and now it says, okay, I need to start becoming that guy. I need to start taking that next step and making that happen. But I think he had to tiptoe around a lot of bullshit. And eventually tiptoeing around a lot of bullshit, isn't worth it anymore. And yes, we talk about the 2024 season and how does that make us better trading Stefon Diggs? No, of course not. I mean, that's straight up. But there's a plan. There's a lot of time left. There's things we can do to get better from here. But this can't be, you don't want to keep the car. It's better to get rid of the nice car a year early than a year too late, and before you really got to start dumping money into it before stuff is really irreversible. So I believe Stefon Diggs did make people uncomfortable, and that's okay. But I hate going back to Minnesota. But
now you say this is the second time around.
He made people uncomfortable, and then so they moved on. Now he comes to Buffalo and makes people so. Okay, when
eventually
is it not
it's
right
not me.
for him to make people uncomfortable? Yeah, like making people uncomfortable might not be a good thing all the time in this situation, right? Especially with a rising star, in Josh Allen. So nobody was.
See, but the problem is the only thing I would say to that is that we haven't won anything quite yet. So I take the temperature of the room, and maybe I need to make you a little bit uncomfortable to elevate your play.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not seeing. I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing enough dedication.
Last week, how is Stefon Diggs the poster child for winning? How is he like, we need to win? What have you done that this team hasn't done? He's not coming in with 3 or 4 Super Bowls like, this is the way we got to do it. Follow me. I'm going to make you uncomfortable till you feel it. Like, he has done nothing more than anybody, in especially Josh Allen. So, like, he's not the poster child for winning. So, yes, make people uncomfortable. We want to win. But, like, I don't think that other players don't want to win. It just got to a point where it was like, all right, we get it. You're dog. You go hard. You want to win every time, but it's just not working. It's not cohesive, and 1-7 can't be his full self with you.
I'm willing to concede some of that, Justus. Shout out to the text chat. We appreciate Mafia Talk APFP. Also to our man from the tailgate. We love him, Seth Brown, right there with Brown Fitness out there in Erie. We love him. I mean, Justus, I hear everything that's being said. I am, this is my last stand. I'm Custard. So I'm General Custard. This is my last stand. I'm trying to figure out, if I work at my job Justus and General. I come to work every day, and I work for Justus General, and he sees me, and he sees my effort. He sees that I'm early to work. He sees that I'll skip some breaks sometimes. The little 15 minutes. I'll take a lunch because that's required by law, but I might skip some 15-minute breaks because I'm dedicated. I believe in Justus's vision. What I'm trying to figure out is that how would we feel? What I feel like a lot of times happens, and I got into so many arguments on X. Robyn, Mama Mundy knows that I have because she's seen my interactions. Is that I'm sometimes I hear that it's almost a situation where they're like, well, he is supposed to just be a certain way. And then because of that, he's just supposed to be okay with it. I know that if I work really, really hard for Justus General, and then you fuck me over, Justus, in a professional setting, I'm going to come back to work and I'm going to look at you a little bit sideways. I'm sorry. You're still my boss. I still have to extend you a certain modicum of respect. I still have to do what you say, quote unquote. I got to show up to the staff meetings. I have to send in my TPS reports, shout out to Office Space. But I am going to look at you a little bit sideways. It's funny that DT said that 13 seconds could have messed this all up. And I'm just on that boat and I've been on that boat, especially on Twitter most recently. I think he started looking at McDermott, started looking at some of the people on the offense. And I know the DT has spoke about Dorsey. I don't know the level of that, but I do know.
You muted yourself.
Yeah.
Yep, he looked at some people on the offense, and especially with McDermott, I apologize that he kind of looked at him sideways, and I can understand after 13 seconds that kind of level of betrayal. Because if I come to work for you, Justus, every day, and then you screw me over, it makes me look bad, it makes you look bad, it makes the company look bad, and I can understand somebody being really, really frustrated with that. I can.
Well, oh yeah, absolutely. I can too. And when it happened, we were on the same boat. We was two of the people defending Stefon Diggs on the line. Like, no, if somebody need to get yelled at, I was
Yes,
right there with you.
did.
I don't have any issue with that.
Okay.
However, if you work for me, right?
Yes.
And it's my fault because I didn't have the necessary leadership in that room because my two. For the
Lieutenants,
scenario, my two lieutenants, right?
Mm-hmm. Your
Shouldn't
two
have
GMs
to navigate this entire situation alone. There should be a expertise leader in that position that can help them duke it out, right? They can help them figure it out, squash it, blah blah blah, right? Ken Dorsey was not that person.
Okay.
Okay. I'm being real with you. I'm just being real.
Keep it real. Okay, no problem. And I hold McDermott and Frazier culpable for their side of the ball that night.
For sure. Absolutely. Right. But then if you as the leader, my lieutenant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Start walking around the office pouting. Right? You're no longer being as productive as you usually are. And if you are being productive, it is also counteracting to other people's production, right? If you start tweeting out cryptic stuff and saying, don't worry about it. No, that ain't nothing. Stay off my Twitter, right? And then push come to shove, all that stuff was real. Right? If I have another lieutenant who everybody else gets along with, Davis is not complaining. Hardy is not going. Cook is not. Kincaid, Dawson Knox is not. Nobody else is complaining. Right?
It's a good point. Good point. That's one thing we found from the Ty Dunn piece was that they do support him. One thing that the Ty Dunn piece bore was that we were able to see that everybody does like him now, regardless of the Chad Hall controversy. They like him. They like him.
Not only does everybody support my other lieutenant, this is one of, if not the best lieutenant in the entire business. The whole business across the country, he's him. Okay.
Top in sales.
You're
one of the best managers.
Don't get me wrong. You're not quite him, but you're him. You're a top 10 salesman in the country, but he's like one or two. he going on the retreat every year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And
so if you're my lieutenant, this lieutenant is outselling everybody. You're doing good. You're doing great, actually. I'll even say it, right? But along with your great, you are also contributing to, rotting the locker room, right? You're also contributing to rotting the office. You're saying all this stuff and then saying, "Oh no, that's not how I feel." Damn. So we can see what you're saying, we can see what you're doing, but then you're telling us something else, right? So then I'm gonna start to look at my lieutenant like,
does he really have my back?
Does
he really have my back?
Is he really the captain of my team?
Three time voted by his co-workers.
Is he really right? And then not only that, but then
voted by the other workers, not by the general manager, not by the boss.
This salesman who is top 10 in the league is saying that he is essential to the success of my number one salesman.
Did he lie? DT, did he lie?
No.
Did he lie?
No. I mean, 1-7's 1-7.
Is Joshua Patrick on the cover of this without Stefon Diggs? You know, I heard that Brandon Bean dig. I heard that dig that he had. And when he said, you know, it's interesting. Did Stefon Diggs make any All-Pros before he joined us? And obviously, I understand, but that was a shot. Come on, Justus.
It was a shot because Stefon Diggs has been taking shots. He also had his brother taking shots.
I was just saying, did he lie? That's all. I was just wondering, did he lie, though? He didn't lie. Yes, Josh is not on this cover without him.
Because if Josh Allen had a number one receiver that wasn't named Stefon Diggs, he would still have success. Therefore, Stefon Diggs is not essential to his success.
We would have to see.
What happened
but that also
in the divisional
we
game?
will find out.
We would have and Mama Mundy is right. We'll find out soon enough. I posit that I think Mama Mundy, I think that 14 brought the best out of Josh. I think that some of those uncomfortable moments where, oh man, I don't want to F up right here because I know that this dude is going to give me shit. Sometimes that anxiety helps you. Sometimes when you're in the ocean and you heard that there is a shark on the loose, it makes you swim faster. I don't care what you say, Justus, and I'm with you. We're having a great conversation tonight because, again, this is my last night to be able to talk about this. Mama Mundy, sometimes fear will it actually heightens your awareness. It actually helps you to stay sharp. That's what I mean by being uncomfortable is not the best. Now, I totally agree with Justus because I'm in management just like DT is, and I understand that you don't want that lieutenant walking around the office huffing and puffing and different things like that. I'm just saying that 13 seconds might have been the impetus that made him start to look at McDermott differently, started making him look at the offense differently, including Josh Allen. And sometimes when you're uncomfortable, you perform your best. Not always. It's not for everyone. But sometimes.
Also, not to mention, you as my lieutenant are also a reason as to why we didn't win. And then you pull
man.
on top of that?
I'm not okay.
Yeah, okay. I don't know there.
Right. I mean, you're talking about the most recent playoff loss. I was going back to the impetus of 13 seconds because I do agree with DT that 13 seconds is the reason why he started. I would look at you sideways, Justus, if we came to the presentation and as this big client, I'm your number one salesman, you are my boss, and you dropped the ball for my presentation. I missed out on the sale. I would look at you sideways.
Don't sign the extension.
But how long?
I agree with you. I
want my money. I still want my money.
I'm right there with you. Bean has put for 4 teams that should have won Super Bowls on rosters. Bean has done that. Sean McDermott is the reason we haven't won. Okay,
right. I said the boss. I said my boss.
If you're Diggs, don't sign the extension.
Okay, Mama Mundy. As we begin to transition, it's funny because I thought of you originally because of the way that you study the brain, and I wanted to delve into 17 because it is time for me to move on. I just got into some arguments. I just told you guys pre-show I was arguing with one of my high school buddies that I played basketball with, and he was like, "It's time to move on, Crip. It's time to move on." And listen, I have no problem moving on, but as we move on, I would like to have a better understanding of this guy on that Madden cover behind me, because what I'm starting to wonder, and I asked this to DT last week, and I came up with this little theory the other day, and I want your thoughts on it. And I'm mad that DT's leaving right now, so hopefully he gets a chance to come back and get filled in on it. But what I'm wondering is that I'm wondering, Mama Mundy, is Josh Allen genuinely, and you followed him literally, WIOs at the end of your handle. You are out there in Wyoming. You saw him as a poke. Is Josh Allen surprised at the level that he has reached? Now, what I mean by that, number one, I am openly acknowledging every athlete has an ego. So I'm not saying that he is surprised as opposed to like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm in the NFL. Not that. but the level that he has reached and jumping over Anthony Barr. I think Anthony Barr was the first person he jumped over. It was a rookie year or a second year in Minnesota. We had a great comeback in that game, and he jumped over Anthony Barr. Then we've got other guys. We've got Reed from Kansas City. We've got stiff arms. We've got so many different examples. I think he even went through a linebacker, Bobby Wagner, in LA a couple of years ago in the home opener. In the season opener. I mean, it was just crazy. He's made a living out of it. Hurdle Avenue. Listen, is Josh surprised at the level that he's gotten to? And what I mean by that is that I hit the football lottery. I thought I was good, fireball, and I had to go JUCO. I had to work my way up. I wasn't the man. You look at Wyoming. What were the big things on him? His accuracy, and he's against the best competition. He played Iowa, and he sucked. And he played some other relatively mediocre Big Ten school or something like that, and he sucked. What is this kid going to be? And almost it looked like after his second, like, oh shit. Like, I can do this. And what I mean by that is that he's satisfied with the success that he has reached. So what I mean by that is the Madden cover is a lifetime dream for any young boy that plays football. He's talks about how much he loves to golf, and he wants to golf the 100 best courses in America or 100 best courses in the world, and that's his offseason. And I do. Me and DT, DT's getting mad at me, but me and DT have both said that it's important for them to unplug and get away and be human. One of the things I couldn't stand about the Stefon Diggs criticism was, he does all this fashion. Well, what does it matter what he's doing in his offseason? Because they need a chance to unplug. So I don't care that Josh golfs. But one of the things that have come out on Twitter is that Josh doesn't work as hard. One of the things that came out on Twitter, Mama Mundy, is that one of the things that rubbed Stefon Diggs the wrong way was that he knew Josh didn't work as hard. And because of that, that made him feel a certain type of way again, specifically after 13 seconds. Is Josh like looking at himself sometimes in the mirror, Mama Mundy, and like, oh shit, is that why he pukes before games? I mean, let's dive into the quarterback's mind, because I'm very fascinated by who he is, because I'm obviously leaning on him to take us to the promised land. He's our chance. He's our ticket.
He is, and he knows it, and the pressure of that, I think, is weighing upon him as every year passes, as every 13-second opportunity goes by the wayside.
Okay.
But to address your question, I think the bigger issue with Josh is not that he's surprised necessarily, but that he is self-admitted, and we've talked about this before. He says he's an introvert.
Right.
And I believe that, because you don't see him out at the bars and out socializing and doing all that stuff, because he doesn't like to be around people.
Right.
He doesn't.
No, you're right.
And he has to be, that's the definition of introvert. Introvert is a person who needs space to be by themselves in order to recharge their batteries.
Okay.
And an extrovert is somebody the exact opposite, who needs to be around people, who has to be around people.
They thrive off of it. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And Josh is an introvert. And I think that also does not necessarily help him in terms of his leadership skills, because he's got to be engaged. And he's not always engaged, I don't think, in terms of the greater part of the job, in terms of communicating.
I think we saw that week 1 against the Jets. I think that the moment was just, oh my gosh, Aaron Rodgers is coming back, and oh my gosh, and we're on Monday Night Football to start the season, and he started doing dumb shit that day.
We've seen Sugar High Josh.
Yeah.
We know what Sugar High Josh is all about.
Sure.
So I don't think he was surprised, because he sent out 998. Well, he sent out 1,000 letters. 998 of them rejected him. He was never recruited.
Right.
So he overcame so much. Was he surprised? No, I don't think so. Inside, he's got that alpha dog competitor. I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you that I can do this. Okay. And he did. And he
evidence by jumping over the guys that he's jumped over throughout his career.
Everything that he could do. Now, that being said, I do think that being an introverted person, it's hard for him to engage in those social activities all the time when you're the quarterback and everything's going on. And so when he hits the off season, I think it's like unplug, get away. I don't want to talk to anybody. Get out of my face.
Sure. Let me go golfing. Let me be out in nature.
And I think that's why he golfs, because
Sure.
he can be on the golf course and
It's
nobody
just
can
him and a
bug him.
couple buddies. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Right?
Nobody
So
can
that's
bother
why
him.
he stays at home all the time. So I don't think he was surprised by
His
his
success.
accomplishments, but
Okay.
I honestly think he's uncomfortable with it.
Ooh,
I
interesting.
I think he's uncomfortable with it. And for him, oddly enough, to be dating a movie star
I know. I was just gonna. You took the
cracks
words out
me
of my
up
mouth.
because it's
He
like,
was way more comfortable when he was dating his college sweetheart than when he was, with with the superstar. Yeah,
but at the
sure.
same time,
That's
I
fair.
will say this, and it's something to think about in terms of supporting evidence. You want to know how conflict avoidant he was?
How's
Look
that?
no further than how long it took for him to break off that relationship that he had with his ex.
You don't want to get me on that, Mama Monday. We will shift because
But you know what
again,
I'm saying,
no,
okay?
I do
You
know
know
what
what
you're
I'm
saying, and I
saying.
think that there are not only valid points to that there are some people. Listen, through the grapevine, Mama Monday, some people think that his personal relationships affected that Cincinnati game, and
It
that is
did.
where
I
that's where I'll leave
absolutely
it.
believe it 100% that it absolutely did. And that right there is the issue that we have to talk about in terms of him being able to separate his personal life from his professional life.
Right.
And I want him to be more Tom Brady and less Kyle Orton.
DT, it's funny because I understand how professional sports works, and I understand that you are judged by your accomplishments. You're judged by rings in the end. That's the silly LeBron Jordan debate. It's like, why can't we just appreciate the fact that they're both excellent basketball players? I picked Jordan because that's where I grew up. I grew up in that era, so I would always say Mike. But so many people will want to fight you and say that it's LeBron. Why can't it just be, that they're both great? Because it seems like
Yes.
this hot take stove society that we're in now. Got to pick one or the other. Got to pick one or the other. And
Binary.
I
Everything's
think that played into the breakup, DT. I think that played into it. It's funny because I'm most worried about the fact that I wanted Brandon Beane to broker something for the 2024 season. Again, I told you guys last week, I definitely could see after 2025 us moving on from Stefon Diggs with his age and different things like that. I just thought that it was a year early, and I didn't want it to be about tweets. I didn't want it to be about hurt feelings. I didn't want it to be about this guy makes me uncomfortable. I wanted it to be about let's figure out a way to get them on the phone together to get this thing worked out because we're in a Super Bowl window. Every season wasted, DT. I know that you won't disagree with me on this. Every season in his prime is another season wasted.
Yeah.
Am I wrong with that? I have argued with people ad nauseum on Twitter that want to just argue with me. And I just
100%.
thought that we could wait one more year. That's all. That's
100%, Rob. But that also contradicts the why he's gone, right? If it was squashable, that's what they've been trying to do, right? That's what they've been trying.
I don't
like
know.
If this drama
Okay.
was back from 13 seconds and was squashable, what do you think? That's when the team's focus this whole time is trying to push this down, and then it's kind of showing its head a little bit into the public here and there, and then we take it and run, and everyone goes wild about it. But they keep pushing it down, and then it finally gets to the point where it's just like, all right, it's done, it's over. And with all those things that can happen, with Josh being in his prime, with the Super Bowl window right here, like you don't want to waste years. You don't want to make your team worse in this situation, but they did. So that makes me think it was bigger than, I was on the squash train. It might have been too big to get squashed. And, to the points of back to Josh and his personality type and, golfing in the offseason and all that, right? Pat Mahomes golfs, Travis Kelce golfs, all this stuff. But it's all masked when you're winning,
magnified.
Right? The story isn't Josh Allen on the golf course in the offseason. It's, Super Bowl champion, he goes out and plays. It's a lot less luster than, going, right? So that's
sure,
the situation.
You're right.
Josh kind of coming up, back on the Josh persona here. Coming up was kind of, a nobody, small town, probably where he got that introvert in him. Started realizing he could play, got, grew into, I got nothing, let me go get something. Okay, I finally got that JUCO, now D1. I got that. Now let me go to the NFL.
Get drafted.
It might not work. Now it is. Now it's the biggest it has been. So he's been
adjusting,
realizing, yes, adjusting to this the whole time, his whole life.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
makes me think that, yes, now he needs to take that next step to be
Yes.
great. You know, he was nobody, and then he was D1. Then he was nobody. Then he was first round draft pick. Then he was still nobody. Now he's one of the best quarterbacks in
Right,
the NFL.
right. They made fun of him
Now
after his rookie year. Yep, you're right about
exactly.
that.
Now you
You're
have to
right.
make that step to be great. And if he's learned
That's right.
somewhat quickly, I mean, he's not even 30 years old yet. If he's
Right.
learned somewhat quickly how to succeed in all these other adversity steps, he now hopefully can quickly adjust to that next step of becoming great, bringing the Super Bowl to Buffalo. So that, you know, the things
Okay.
that he's, yes, I agree with Robyn on a lot of that stuff, and a lot of it contradicts to your general definition of QB1 leader quarterback. But
Sure. Mhm.
you know, you could probably go through and say that about, I bring up Brady and Manning all the time, but they're the greatest, right? So
Mhm.
I mean, Brady was probably a little bit introverted. You know, Michael Jordan was
Sure.
probably a
He
little
was
bit
he was a
introverted. Kobe
backup.
Bryant
Mhm.
definitely introverted. Like, it doesn't mean you can't lead and fight and grind for it.
Absolutely.
Oh, very much.
But
Yeah,
you know,
very
so
true.
I hope that
Michael Jordan was introverted. he
exactly
didn't like it. He didn't like it.
the quickly way he's been able to achieve, you know, from nothing to greatness, nothing to greatness, nothing to greatness. Now this is the step. Like, you've shown you can be good. Now we need the hardware to back it up, and that's, you know, that's the next step he has to take, obviously.
Yeah.
All right. Justice, as we begin to wrap up tonight, again, I appreciate all of your insights tonight because, you know, again, I do truly need to move on, and I understand that, and I'm going to stop arguing with people on Twitter about Diggs. I'm going to get ready to mute that his name altogether because it is time to focus in on the Bills as the draft is up a couple weeks away, actually 2 weeks away from tonight. So we are going to be back next week, DT and I, for a draft preview episode. Can't wait for it.
Awesome.
Justice General, one thing that, again, this is one of the last things, my last heave. I'm tired. Y'all beat me up. I'm in the corner. I can't breathe that well. It's almost the end of the round. I'm going to throw one more haymaker out there. Listen, I have been fighting with so many people on Twitter about this KC model, and I think that it is it's a fallacy. I don't. Okay. I am just like Bills Mafia, like everybody else. I want them to win the Super Bowl every single year. I wish the Bills had 25 Super Bowls, and I understand it. I wish that everything was rosy every single day of the week. Justice, I need to posit this to you. It's starting to really, really tick me off when people want to compare this to, well, Mahomes got rid of Tyreek Hill and they got better. I see absolutely no apples to apples comparison. KC traded the cheetah. They got a shit ton back. We got a second round pick for next year. Yes, I'm happy that with Diggs's age that we were able to even get that. I'm not complaining. Brandon Beane did what he had to do after he knew that he had to trade him. So I'm not complaining, but it is not the same. Patrick Mahomes has the benefit of a Hall of Fame head coach who also happens to call the plays for him every single time he's on the field. Josh Allen does not have that luxury, so to speak. And the last thing is that he has a Hall of Fame tight end. He will moonwalk into the Hall of Fame in Travis Kelce. Josh Allen has not played with one Hall of Famer. Now, the only one that you would be able to say is Stefon Diggs, and he still needs a few more years of 1,000-yard seasons, some good production in Houston or Dallas or wherever he goes in the future to get to that threshold. I don't think it's apples to apples. And what I think is that we want to be like KC so much, Justice, that we are now starting to make comparisons that are not comparable, and we're setting ourselves up for failure. Again, said at the beginning, hope we win the Super Bowl in 2024. I wish we won it last year. I wish we won it when I was 5, 6, 7, and 8 in Super Bowl 25 through 20. I wish we win it every year. I think that we could possibly be setting ourselves up for a little bit of failure. The offense is not as good as it was the day that we traded Stefon Diggs. I think that we have taken a step back. And now, as we come up to the draft 2 weeks away, Justice, we not only need to replace Gabe Davis, now we need to replace Gabe Davis and Stefon Diggs. That makes Brandon Beane's and the scouts' jobs doubly hard. I think that people want to just scoff at this and, well, Josh is just as almost good as Patrick Mahomes. They traded away Tyreek Hill. It'll be the same. Josh Allen is getting ready to show what he can do and show that he can carry the Bills. I think that is so foolish. I think you should surround him with talent, and I'm just worried. That's what I told my good friend from high school last night. I'm worried about the 2024 Bills offense. Talk me off a ledge if you feel like it, Justice. You got the floor.
First of all, I want to say shout out to 1,000 live viewers. That is dope as hell.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Secondly, I want to say that LeBron James is absolutely better than Michael Jordan. Third,
see what I mean? See what I mean, Robyn? It's all perspective. I will fight you on that, but it's all perspective.
All right. So first, before we go into that, I would say Josh Allen plays quarterback in toughest athletic competition there is on the planet, right? The NFL.
Yes.
These are the greatest athletes the world has ever seen. Okay.
Yep.
And he's a top 2 quarterback, and he's throwing down linebackers, throwing down defensive linemen, running past cornerbacks and safeties. Okay. I promise you, Josh Allen works hard. Okay. I promise you. He's not natural. All right. He's not Clark Kent. Okay. I know he plays like it sometimes, but he's still human as far as we know. Okay.
Okay.
Not only that, but
so he puts in the work, and I don't think that we've never questioned that DT here on Nickel City Crew. Okay,
well, I've heard some people question it though.
I heard. I mean, during the little debate, I just heard that maybe Steph wasn't happy with his work ethic. I don't know.
Not only that, but he has a savant level football acumen on the whiteboard. So like, it'll be okay. Okay. As far as talking you off the ledge, when you take a look at Stefon Diggs. Is a phenomenal wide receiver, right? And that's why we had him. That's why we loved him, and that's why we thought that he was going to help us win multiple Super Bowls, right? However, he cost a lot of money. Okay, he was a lot of money, right? Not only that, but we were going to have to give Gabe Davis a lot of money in order to keep him, right? So you lose both of those guys off of the salary cap, right? Of course, Diggs
150 plus catches gone.
Oh, for sure. But you get an opportunity this year. We know the Brandon Beane's scouting team is absolutely phenomenal, right?
Okay.
They got Gabe Davis. I mean, if Gabe Davis catches 95% of his passes, he's all pro like 3 years in a row. All right.
Okay.
So you take a look at that, right? And now you have an opportunity in, thank goodness, a super rich wide receiver class. This class is stacked with wide receivers. Okay. All right, take 2 of those. Now you got, let's say Brian Thomas Jr., let's say Adonai Mitchell, let's say Keon Coleman, let's say Xavier Legette, let's say McConkey, let's say Odunze. You get any 2 of those on rookie contracts. Dalton Kincaid on a rookie contract. James Cook on a rookie contract. Curtis Samuel, or not Curtis Samuel. I'm sorry.
Curtis Samuel's on the team.
Oh, Curtis Samuel. Yeah, Curtis Samuel. We just got, so he's going to be here for a few years, right? We got Ty Johnson back. Well, I really like Ty Johnson.
I like him too.
I love Ty Johnson.
I like Ty Johnson.
We had for the first time in what felt like a decade, a offensive line continuity that was good.
Unreal.
You
played every game together. Played every game together. Played every game together.
You get a offensive coordinator who actually knows how to do the job, and then you get him for a full season, a full off-season program for him to implement everything that he stands for him to implement his offense, right? The offense is going to be fine, I promise. Okay. Josh Allen, hold on, I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. If Josh Allen takes a 3-step drop at the top of his drop, who's going to be open? It's going to be Diggs. I'll give you that, right? But 50% of Josh's dropbacks, what does he do? Get out of the pocket.
5-step and move around.
I ain't gonna make a mistake and be like, oh, gotta go get him. Leave a wide open gap. Like, it happens all the time. All right.
Okay. No concerns about the 2024 offense.
No, not about the offense. Okay. If there was anything I was going to be concerned about, it'd be the defense because we lost so many people. But even that, I'm not really concerned about because if you look at the way the defense operates under Sean McDermott, it's not based on the players on the field. It's really not.
I love all this optimism.
I really don't mean to put them in this light, but Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, they weren't all pros before they came to Buffalo. Okay,
correct.
They just happened to be 2 serviceable safeties who came together and formed like Voltron.
Like Voltron.
Right? The best safety duo in the league.
They were
because of the defense they played in. Not that they're not individually great safeties, but
the scheme helped them.
The scheme put them over the top. Teron Johnson, the scheme put you over the top. Matt Milano, the scheme put you over the top. Ed out, you know what I mean? So like So Adam Oliver is actually really good. So I'll take that back about him. But
I understand what you're trying to
as far
say.
as the linebacker position go, Terrell Bernard.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
I had no idea. No, I'm with you on that.
Nowhere. Christian
I'm with you on
Benford,
that.
nowhere, right? They come out of nowhere and they contribute in this defense because the scheme is phenomenal. And that's not going to change. So they're going to, and like I said, Brandon Beane scouts excellent, right? He has the most wins of any team over the last 4 years under his belt. Should have
in the regular season.
In
the regular season, yes.
I got the same thoughts on McDermott. I'm right there with you, right? But as far as Bean goes, he's going to get the job done every time. So if that don't talk you off the ledge, I don't know what will.
Mama Monday, as we close up tonight and we close up shop. Any concern about the 2024 offense?
No, I don't.
You drinking all the Kool-Aid that Justus is pouring? He put a couple ice cubes in your cup. I got a lot of sugar. I was just going to taking the words out of my mouth. He put a lot of sugar in that shit, but it's good. It's red. It's good.
Straws,
okay, no problem. I'm not mad at y'all. I used to love Kool-Aid. I'm not mad at y'all. Okay, no problem. No issues at all. Stefon Diggs walks out the door. You trust in Beane to get it done in the draft because now, like I said, you don't need one. You need two now. You're aware of that, right? We lost our top 2 receivers. Okay, no problem.
But let me say one thing.
Absolutely.
Shakir.
Okay. I like him. He's a Nickel City Crew
favorite. Big ass season this year.
Ooh, okay. I like the energy. I like the energy. DT. No problems. No, everything's cool.
There's concern, right?
150 plus catches walked out the door from last season. No, everything's straight.
Even if
Shakir doesn't drop anything, and neither does Kincaid. Sorry.
Even if this draft goes absolutely perfect, and you get like we get some names we never thought we would get, and 2 crazy receivers, and even if it goes perfect, there's still concern. But after week 1 of last year, when we're another Super Bowl favorite after week 1, and then lay a complete egg to the New York Jets out there, the sky's falling, and we come back and figure it out and win the games we need to down the stretch. And that's, I think the nucleus is still there on this team. There's holes we have to fill, but you have to rely on 1-7 and that defensive scheme that the general just spoke on, and I think the draft they have big plans for this. As you said, they're not going to waste a year of Josh Allen's prime. So if they got rid of Diggs, they got to have something they got to have the ace in the sleeve to kind of fill that. And it doesn't have to be an exact match. It just has to be a matter of wins. And it has to be obviously an upward expansion of Shakir, Kincaid, and Knox. Curtis Samuel's got to come in and have a better year than he's had in Washington. Sure. They're good years.
Playing with the best quarterback he's ever played with.
Yep. And then they're going to have to bring 2 guys in that that are going to fill that 150 catch route. So there is concern for sure, but it's cliche.
Not from Justus, not from Mama Monday. They smooth sailing.
We'll keep you updated.
Samuel,
divisional losses.
I love y'all.
Divisional losses with this team wasn't good enough, so I'm never going to want to decline in any way, but if the difference from a divisional loss to a wild card loss or missing the playoffs is all the same. And I wouldn't be satisfied if one of those things happens next year, but I'm confident, but there's obvious holes that
you don't have to count. You don't have to count it. I mean, I'll be here having anxiety for the 4 of us. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I do think that Beane is a great GM, like Justus has spoke to, and I think that all of those things are true. I do think that I thought that we could just wait another year, but
Rob,
again, that's what I needed y'all for. I needed y'all to help me.
I just want to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take a look at the NFL landscape right now. You said you're anxious, right?
Yes.
You give me
I'm concerned.
Three teams. Give me 4 teams in the entire NFL that are better than the Buffalo Bills right now.
I was talking about the AFC. You're talking. I just want to get to the Super Bowl. I'm not worried about winning it. I think that Houston is a much better team. I think that Baltimore still has to be reckoned with. I think I'm worried always about Kansas City because they're the bugaboo and they're the ones that always are knocking us out. And then if you want one more, I mean, you can look up and down the divisions and pick one. There's always a surprise team. Who knows? Anthony Richardson coming back. I don't know. I don't know. I think you could pick one from another division. That look at
I don't
Robyn.
believe in credit for you named, brother.
You don't think Houston, Baltimore, Kansas City, they all are, we're all equal with them. I think
Baltimore done. What has Baltimore done? What has Baltimore done?
I think Cincinnati's got their quarterback coming back. They've been to a Super Bowl, a place we haven't been. I'm just worried about the offense. I think I put more pressure on McDermott to cover the D, since that's his baby. That's his side of the ball. He has shown an acumen. Last season was obviously his magnum opus in respects to patching it up with the injuries, so DT and I have already given him his flowers. As much as I can't stand him, we have already given him his flowers for the job that he did last year, because he did a wonderful job. So I'm nervous about the offense. You have to hit on these draft picks. These draft picks are not just guaranteed lottery tickets. They are scratch offs, and you could get something back, and you can get back your money or more, or you could just get nothing, and you're throwing it up, crumbling, and putting it in the trash. So that's how I look at the draft. I think the draft is very much a crapshoot. I do understand that scouting is important and things like that. Those top quarterbacks that you see, you could have them go 1, 2, 3, 4. Half of them motherfuckers are going to be out of the league before you can even blink their eye on their fifth-year option. So it's just such a cutthroat business. It is not.
I mean, you ever win money on craps?
Science. It's not a science.
What's that? Win money on craps? You ever win money on craps?
Me personally, no.
It's one of the funnest thing you could ever do, because everything's in it. Yeah, it's a crapshoot, but when that crapshoot hits, it's amazing. Yeah. So give me the dice, baby. Roll them up.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Around the horn again. I really appreciate all of your time tonight as we wrap up. Again, tonight's episode was presented by 26shirts.com. Head on over to 26shirts.com. Again, here on Buffalo FAMBase, that we simulcast on the official Bills Mafia podcast network. Let's give a round of applause to the incomparable Robyn Mundy. Check her out at Robyn Mundy, ROBYN Mundy, WYO on Twitter and Instagram. We love you, Mama Mundy. Thank you for joining us. We really do.
Thank you. I cannot tell you how much I enjoy being with you guys anytime.
Absolutely. She is the editor-in-chief at Buffalo FAMBase, the creative director at Buffalo FAMBase, Justus General Radford at JA17MVP. Holla at the crew. We appreciate you coming on and giving us some of your time tonight, Justus. We really appreciate it. Salute to the general.
Had to be
Salute to the general. I appreciate it. Dump truck, I will holler at you, man. They're sending me these bills for the season tickets. I had to pay my season tickets last month. I know that we had talked about maybe we want to split these things, so we'll talk about it in the future, because they are getting on my nerves. I don't want them to take my money and take my wide receiver. I mean, goodness gracious, I'm going through a lot of shit right now, and they just taking my money and just okay.
Put it all right
here.
We'll
talk to you later, Rob. We'll talk to you next month. And I'm just like, you
get a Malik Neighbors jersey. Don't worry, bro.
I love it. I love it. As we close up tonight, it's not funny, but it is it's definitely noteworthy. Yesterday we found out, and then I think everybody really found out this morning, that the Juice, O.J. Simpson, passes away last night, surrounded by his family and grandchildren. They said his children and grandchildren. I think that Ryan Thomas, who is another co-contributor here on Buffalo FAMBase, said it really best on his Twitter. He's got a complicated legacy, and that is the name of the episode, to say the least. Complicated feelings on him, complicated feelings on Stefon Diggs, Josh Allen, everything. What I will say is that he was a hero to many for a long period of time. I remember my mother telling me stories about meeting him at school, at the Park School, right there in Amherst and Snyder. And I remember my father saying that he went to a couple parties with the Juice back in the day, with Booker Edgerson and different things like that. So he was a hero to many for a certain period of time. Obviously, everything that happened there after his playing career was done is a reminder to me, and hopefully it's a reminder to Bills Mafia. I try to raise my three kings to not put athletes and entertainers on a pedestal. We can appreciate their work. We can appreciate their movies. We can appreciate their songs. I try not to put them on a pedestal, because oftentimes a man will be a man, a woman will be a woman, and we are full of flaws. We will let you down. So I'll leave it there. Not anything else that needs to be said. One of the greatest running backs in the history of the NFL, let alone the Buffalo Bills. I think it's not even debatable. And it just, it is what it is. He's gone on. So the only person that could judge him, he just got a chance to meet last night. And I think that everybody would be wise just to leave it there, as opposed to to, you know, kind of accusing people of stuff that we don't really know about. Because what was this entire episode about tonight? We're all wondering what the hell happened between our quarterback and our wide receiver, and none of us went to work with those guys. So we really don't know. We're all guessing. So again, I appreciate my panel tonight. Dump Truck, I mean, hit them with the Go Bills. I mean, listen, spread love out there, not hate. We will be back next week for our draft preview. DT, you know I'm not a huge draft guy, but my black ass is a draft guy this year.
You are now. You are this year.
Brandon B got my attention this year. I'm paying attention this year. DT.
11 live viewers, y'all make a wish.
Oh man, 1,100 viewers. We really appreciate everybody joining
go.
tonight. We really do appreciate that. You're absolutely right, Justus. Again, this is like the third week in a row, DT, that we've had over 1,000 people watching the show. So
are you kidding?
Yeah,
awesome.
It really has. Nickel City Crew is growing. We really appreciate it. DT and I have so many awesome ideas coming up for this season. We're gonna have a gambling section where we're betting against each other and picking games. We're gonna have giveaways this season. I'm gonna give away my prize possession, one of my prize possessions, which is that Keith McKellar jersey. Again, shout out to Scott Reed. The K gun was named after Keith McKellar, not after Jim Kelly. So a little bit of history lesson. So listen, we appreciate everybody tonight. Spread love, not hate. Hit them all with the Go Bills. Please hit them with the Go Bills.
Go Bills. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
I love it. I love it.